find you found at a thrift shop. Not a thrift shop, but a pawn shop. A buddy and I were walking around and just hanging out when we came across a pawn shop that looked as if they hadn't been cleaned since the 60s. We decided to take a look around and see if they had anything interesting. I noticed they had some guns for sale and decided to see if they had a decent shotgun for a reasonable price. I had just turned 18 a month ago and wanted to get a shotgun. I was perusing their very limited selection and didn't see a shotgun that fit my criteria, but did notice they had some surplus rifles. It was then I saw something that made my blood boil. Let me set the stage so you can envision what I saw. The floor was covered in a mint green tile that looked as if it had been original to the shop. The walls were painted a very dingy off-white with noticeable yellow streaks from years of people smoking in the shop. Their guns were at the back of the store. There was an L-shaped glass display case that held pistols and knives. On top of the corner there was a spinning rack of long guns. Behind the counter was a vertical wall rack of even more long guns. On one side, there was a display wall of different firearms. Now that you have that image burned into your mind on the display wall, there were various surplus weapons, and one caught my eye. It seemed familiar, but I couldn't place it. I asked the guy behind the counter if I could look at that weapon and he said sure. He proceeded to tell me how he came by it. The previous owner had sold it a couple of months ago saying he needed the money for his car or something. As soon as I held that weapon, I knew exactly where I'd seen it before. It was my great-grandfather's 1903 Springfield .22 trainer that he had taught me how to shoot with. How did I know it was his? On the stock, there was some damage that I was responsible for. I bought the rifle and took it home. When I got back home, I called my great-grandfather and asked him if he still had that old .22 from when I was a kid. He said it should be in his safe and I was welcome to come shoot it anytime I wanted. I told him I would be there on Saturday and would have a surprise for him. On that Saturday, my uncle met me at the door and said that Pap was in a bad mood and that today wasn't a good day.